The critical minerals pact that's likely to be signed when Piyush Goyal is the Commerce Minister is set to be in Washington. Now, this deal is significant for a variety of reasons. It could ensure the more robust supply chains. It could ensure that there is greater technological transfer, and most importantly, it would China-proof the supply chain. India has already identified 30 critical minerals in the last 1 year. Remember, every country can choose. Some have chosen as high as 69 as critical minerals. India has identified those 30 where it wants to ensure that its supply lines are not disrupted. The significance of this is exactly what we are focusing on and discussing in conversation with Professor Chintamani Mahapatra joining me on the broadcast. Professor Mahapatra, thank you so much for taking out the time. He's founder chairperson of the Kalinga Institute of Indo-Pac Studies. Sir, now this is an extremely significant pact that India will sign with the US. Continuation, of course, of the deal and the broad agreement since last year. But the fact that it will be signed now, what is the significance? What does it pave the way for? Explain to our viewers, sir.
Okay, the significance of this particular visit and signing of the agreement are the following. Number one, it is going to improve the trust factor in Indo-US relationship. Number two, it is very critical and important for India's future economic growth, which is dependent on technology, and large number of emerging technologies are dependent on the critical minerals. Now, out of 30 minerals that have been identified by India as critical, in the top 10, we are 100% dependent on other countries. And there are others where 50%, 90%, 60% dependence is there. So if you really want to become Atmanirbhar, then it is important that we must develop a kind of relationship with other countries so that we can ensure smooth, uninterrupted supply of critical minerals, which are important for our technological development in high-tech electronic system, in
That's a very important point you made, that the 10 critical minerals, we are completely dependent for supply, for continuity of supply. And in the wake of any extra factors, our supply chains stand to get completely compromised. Now, talk to us, sir, that after signing this pact, where we'll have a certain visibility on the supply of these critical minerals, how does it change for our industries, whether it's electric vehicles, whether it's several others? Talk to us and explain how those industries stand to get impacted positively.
No, there are three things. India has already joined what is known as the Mineral Supply Partnership with the United States. It is America-led. There are 14 countries. India joined last year. And the entire goal is going to facilitate supply, increase the supply of these critical minerals by sourcing it other than the concentrated areas like, for example, China. China happens to be a dominant supplier of many critical minerals, and now they're playing games. For example, there are two items like antimony. Antimony, they have put restrictions.
They have.
And now there are two other items like cobalt. They have produced so much that other countries are dissuaded from developing their own capability. So this is where these 14 member partner countries are going to leverage each other's complementary strength and ensure uninterrupted supply, so though this should be resilient.
Professor Mahapatra, quickly, what you're saying is extremely important, and this has ramifications for our semiconductor ambitions as well. Explain to us briefly, sir, how much of a push that will be for our semiconductor aspirations.
Will be extremely important. Only recently, during our Prime Minister visit to Wilmington, when he met Joe Biden, the President of the United States, we signed an agreement where semiconductor fabrication plant is going to be established in India, and the chips is going to be sold to the American armed forces, the Allied armed forces, the Indian armed forces. This is going to be a very strong partnership between India and the US, and this is critical because China is playing games. Whenever it wants, it supplies too much. Otherwise, it can put restrictions on.
Absolutely. Professor Mahapatra, thank you so much for taking out the time, explaining to us the significance of that pact, which is set to be signed when Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal will be in Washington in the next 1 or 2 days.